Welcome back to the Boneyard podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shepard, along with my good friend,
Artie, Broward.
We're coming to you this week with episode 252. Artie, we couldn't have planned it out any better if we tried.
252, baby. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're not a real one.
252. Artemis.
Talk to me.
It's a big week.
Yes, it is.
Big week. Nothing bigger happening than East Carolina playing NC State this Thursday night in Carter Finley Stadium. God, I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited for anything in a long time.
Football is back, baby. Football is back. It is here. Just a couple of days, and we are all the way live.
Something else big is happening this week. I'd be remiss if I didn't say.
Yeah.
My best friend and co-host on this podcast, Artemis Brower, is getting married. He's tying the knot. You know, Artie, the weekend that I got married, East Carolina won on a walk-off field goal.
That's right.
Hopefully we won't need a walk-off field goal to win this weekend.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. It's going to be a challenging game, but hopefully not. Hopefully ECU is nice Thursday night. We'll be watching it. I've already made sure. We reached out to Cal. They got 5 TVs at the venue, and each and every single one of them can be on the game. So,
well, if the dinner starts at like 6:37, I don't know what the itinerary is. Mm-hmm. We'll be hitting halftime, hopefully, right around the time we're ending dinner. Give us time to get to the Airbnb and do what we need to do.
That is true. We could head back to the Airbnb and watch the second half at the house.
If it's a tight game, I'm not gonna be. It's not gonna be good for me to be in public. I'm just gonna say that. Just gonna say that.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Artie, episode 252 of the Boneyard podcast. We could just say Area 252, home. Area code 252, home of the best college town in the world.
G Vegas, baby.
Greenville, stand up. We love you. Shout out to you. But Artie, do you have any other 52s that you would like to mention?
You know, I do have a 52. Obviously, 252 Greenville. That's the overall one for the week. But if I had to put another 52 in there, I'm going to go with one John Beeson.
Okay.
Former linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. Played at the University of Miami. There was a stretch of time there where John Beeson was one of the best linebackers in the league. I remember watching him in my youth. Played from 2007 to 2013 for the Panthers. Was All-Pro, second-team All-Pro. I think he was a 3-time Pro Bowler. So really good career. Unfortunately, got beat out by the legendary Luke Kuechly when he got drafted out of Boston College and never really regained his starting position. I think he did go to the Giants for a couple of years, but John Beeson was one of my favorite linebackers to watch growing up. Wore that famous 52 that middle linebackers wear. A lot of famous middle linebackers have worn that number. We know one, Ray Lewis, and some other ones. But that will be my 52 for the week. Shout out John Beeson.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a sneaky good number.
Yeah.
There's some sneaky guys on here on this list. Of course, Ray Lewis. Who else? Does Giannis wear 52?
No.
Did he? No.
Like 30 something. I'm pretty sure.
He never wore it. I don't know. But this is the thing in the group chat, Josh, that we were talking about. ChatGPT strikes again. But no. I mean, I was going to go Ray Lewis, but that's just chalk. Just the greatest. I mean, I'm trying to think like who else would have worn it. I'm trying to think.
You got Khalil Mack. That's another one I know that.
Khalil Mack, yeah.
I feel like there's at least one or two other Hall of Famers that have worn that number, but Clay Matthews wore it.
I that was who I was thinking, but I did for some reason. This is gonna sound terrible. Every once in a while, like when I think Clay Matthews, I'm like, that's a guy that would have wore 69, kind of like Jared Allen, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So I was fully thinking that Clay Matthews wore 69 like Jared Allen, but no, 52 is a good Clay Matthews number. Yeah, I mean, lots of good 52s. I was trying to look for like a kind of outlandish one, but not to mention, I mean, you got CC Sabathia for baseball. Mm-hmm. I think Adam Foote in hockey.
No,
long-time Colorado Avalanche great. So 52, good 52. But Artie, it is time.
Let's get into it.
Time. Had our first weekend of college football this past weekend.
Yeah.
I got to watch very little. We ended up going to the zoo. Then I was trying to watch the UNLV Idaho State game, and my daughter wanted to watch Elsa. I said, I'll let you have this weekend, but for the next 15 weeks, 16 weeks, no dice. No dice. Any games that – what's that?
No, so yeah, this past weekend wasn't that big of a deal, but
I don't know. There were some good games.
Now, I will say the Central Southern game, I couldn't finish it, but I was watching that first half, and they were going back and forth there for a while. We had to end up leaving to go somewhere, but that was a good one. And then Iowa State and Kansas State, I mean, that was just a sloppy slugfest, but it was turned into a pretty good game. It wasn't too bad. So
yeah, I watched bits and pieces of that game. The other game, the kind of craziest game of the weekend, the UC Davis Mercer game, being labeled or made a no contest, I believe in the third or fourth quarter. UC Davis was up, I believe, a touchdown, and they just said, "Yep." It went into a lightning delay. They said, "You know what? This game's over. Nothing crazy. Matters. Nothing counts. Any stats. Nothing is. Just act like this never happened."
I'd be pissed. Oh, I'd be so pissed.
Just act like if this never happened.
Hours of my life I can't get back on something that's not going to count.
But good slate this weekend. This weekend. Starts off, I mean, Thursday night. Not only do you have our game, you have the USF Boise State game, which is already it's going to have playoff implications possibly. USF has a very tough schedule to start the season. Mm-hmm. But if they can find a way to beat Boise State this Thursday, I wouldn't be shocked to see them make a run. Even if they lose, even if they go 2-2 in the non-conference, their non-conference slate, it's tough. Who do they have? Is it Alabama again this year, Josh? Do you know?
That would be 3 straight years in a row. I would doubt that.
No, it's not. I don't think it's Alabama. They have Florida, Miami, so they have UF and Miami, and Boise State in their non-conference.
That is a really tough slate.
Yeah, and Boise, I believe, is the only home game.
And I would not doubt that South Carolina State team.
That's true.
They did just win the HBCU national championship.
But this is also a South Florida team that's supposed to look. I say it all the time. South Florida is they're the NC State of the American Athletic Conference. A lot of hype always, and they're still going to go 7-5.
Now that is tough. I mean, you've got what, like Josh said, South Carolina State coming off HBCU national championship, kind of like when we had to play A&T back in the day, and they were really good HBCU national championships. And then you got that, the Florida, Miami, Boise State. I mean, you could lose all of those games are going 1-3. So
yeah, you could very well be 1-3 and still be looking to have like a decent season.
Yeah.
I mean, your 3 toughest games are probably the games you start the season with. But all right, Artie, ECU, NC State. We're gonna have Corey Smith join us here in a little bit, but talk to me. It's week 1. Just gut check right now. How are we feeling going into the first week of the season?
I just want to see if all the things that we saw in fall camp, all the things you guys saw in media day, they were saying the right things, they were doing the right things, everything's buttoned up. Does it come into fruition on Thursday night? Not necessarily a win, but are we seeing the things that were talked about that have progressed over the season? Is the culture really established? Is this team going to come out and everyone's going to be on even kill and everyone's going to be on one accord? Are we going to see that? Or if it gets tough, if it gets frustrating, if we go down, do we start to see some little things go off the rails? That's the main things I look at in game 1, especially when you're playing an opponent that you're an 11.5-point dog to. I don't agree with that, but a double-digit dog to. Are we going to go up there and actually give them the business, play it together, come out there and say this is just one opponent 1 week at a time, or are some of the cracks going to show in week 1 that we're going to have to get fixed early on if we're going to have a successful season? So that's what I'm looking for. Gut check, I feel good. It is State. We did just beat them in the bowl game. They're going to be angry. We know Dave Doran's comments. We'll get into that later. It's going to be a good time. But the initial gut check, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think you can throw out, and Coach Harrell has said it multiple times, right? You can't bring any of last year's plays into this year. Everything that happened last year, throw it out the window, act like it didn't even happen. This is a whole new year, whole new ball game. There's some question marks. Honestly, there's some question marks on both teams.
Yeah, there are.
On both sides of the ball. Just looking at it, I mean, the defenses. There's some question marks. That's probably where the most question marks are on defense for both teams. But I think the team that wins at the line is going to win the game. We'll get into that later, but I really think that's what's going to happen. Like you said, I think that they've all said the right things. They've done the right things. Sounds like everybody's still healthy. We're feeling good. We're feeling loose.
Mm-hmm.
Can we make that translate into game speed on Thursday night?
Right.
All the things coming out of camp, all the things coming out of practice are great. But does it translate under the lights? That's what I want to know.
And also, can we stay poised in that initial onslaught? I think NC State is they're going to be emotional. It's at home. It's a primetime game. I think they're going to try to go out there and set the tone early and be one of those teams where they're like, running around with a chicken with the head cut off, I should say, and trying to, put us to bed early. Can we stay poised and can we get by that initial rush that I think NC State's going to try to hit us with? If we can, I think we might be in good shape.
And I mean, this is also a team, and I know Josh has it in our notes here. They've only lost twice in home openers in the now 13-year career of Dave Doran at NC State.
Mm-hmm.
One of those contests came back in 2013 when ECU went into Carter Finley and beat them. So that's that's something to kind of hang your hat on. Like, hey, like we've done this before. Yes, that was 12 years ago. But an ECU team has done this before.
Yeah.
And sorry, I misspoke. It's one of 2 home non-conference games. So they've only lost twice at home in the non-conference in the Dave Doran era. And ECU did it once. The other team, already any guesses without looking?
Oh, goodness. What conference?
That'll give it away.
Okay, no, I don't have any guesses there.
Notre Dame. I guess I could have said ACC, kind of.
Yeah, because they don't belong to a conference. Yeah, and they play Notre Dame again this year too.
Yeah. I don't know, Artie. I like our chances. But what we've seen in the past is NC State, when they play at home and they play at night to open the season, they do have a track record of getting out to slow starts. I mean, last year we were talking about Western Carolina possibly knocking off the Wolfpack in Carter Finley Stadium under the lights week 1. Is that something to be said about Dave Doran getting his team almost too hyped up for the game, that it takes them a little bit longer to settle in to the rhythm of a game? I think, like you said, composure, poise, that's gonna do wonders for whichever team is gonna win this game. Who can make less mental mistakes and play their brand of football for the majority of the game? I don't know. Josh, anything you'd like to add? No. Oh, there he is. Changed the shirt, thankfully.
I'm gonna say put that purple on. Yes, sir.
Had to put the purple on before I could be seen. Yeah, man. I agree with everything you said. I think that this game, I mean, is Dave Doran on the hot seat? That's question number 1. Like, is he on the hot seat coming into the game?
That's a question I have.
And then after the game, how hot is the seat? Because I mean, if he's not coming into the game, he is leaving the game.
I mean, I think this is the year that NC State has maybe had the least expectation on them coming into the year, at least in the last 5 years or so. And there's a lot of discussion on whether this just may be Dave Doran's last year in general. We can get to that here in a second when we bring our guest on, Corey Smith from Pack Pride. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Corey, welcome to the Boneyard podcast, my friend. Welcome back. How are we doing? Loving the rowback, by the way.
I appreciate it. Yeah, just this is a recent little shipment. I had to get something that wasn't red before the season, so I could wear it to the games.
Well, I wish you would have hit us
a little
up
warmer too, because it's going to get pretty cold soon. So
next time use Boneyard 20% off, and we'll get you that 20% off discount.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But welcome back. It's finally football season, Corey. It's time to stop playing this game on paper. And
yeah, eventually, right? Eventually. I mean, we keep saying that, and I feel that way too. I've said it all day long, and I'm like, I'm still just talking about what's going to eventually happen. Yeah. I know it's game week. I get it. We're very close, but like, for the love of God, let's get these next 72 hours over, man.
Yeah, so just inches away.
Yes.
What's the general feeling? We were talking before you came on about Dave Doran. This game, throw this game out the window. If Dave Doran doesn't have the year that NC State fans and the administration would like him to have, is he on the hot seat? Is he look? I know that there's talks about him maybe retiring after this year. What's kind of your thoughts, just kind of off the gate?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weird circumstance because you're looking at right now for Dave Doran. Yeah, I mean, if you lose this game, you lose 2 straight to ECU, a team that, NC State fans feel like they should be the better team. You're in the ACC, and this is nothing against. I'm not saying this like I'm going to piss ECU fans off already, right. But like you're in the ACC, you're picking from from players that you're competing against UNC and Duke, not ECU or App State for. Like you should be the better team here. If you lose 2 straight to ECU, that's like grounds for people to be like, all right, you're immediately on the hot seat the rest of the season. I don't think he's going to get fired, the day after if something like that happens, because you see how the season plays out. But I mean, that definitely changes the perspective going into the season if you lose that game, regardless of how it happens. But this is definitely a season where you go into it, and I think the thought process has been for a little while, and I've said this a couple times, is 7-5 with wins against ECU and UNC to kind of bookend the season. Like, all right, you did enough to clear the bar, then you have to figure out who's coming back. That's kind of the thought process, is like, all right, if you can do that, and then you have CJ Bailey coming back, you have Hollywood Smothers coming back, you have a couple receivers coming back, and some defensive players that maybe showed out. Like, all right, there's a.
Did we lose him?
I lost Corey.
Oh no,
We'll get him back.
Corey.
Gotta love live. Beauty of live.
It's that NC State Wi-Fi. There we go. There's Corey.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Yeah, all of a sudden it cut out on me too. So I saw you guys swirling around a little bit too. But yeah, so I was just saying, like, as of right now, I think the thought process is going into the season, you have to finish above 7-5 or better. But 9-3, and there's maybe grounds for Dave Doran to be like, all right, I've exceeded expectations. I want to head on out. I want to go out like I want to and go run a bait shop and do the things that
bait and tackle shop.
Yep. So there's a couple of different ways this can go, but I think anything less than 7-5, and Dave is probably going out not with his under his own power. Anything above 9-3 or 8-4, maybe even, he's like, all right, we exceeded expectations, and we're gonna head on out of here. So
if you had to kind of handicap it or put a percentage to it, what percentage would you say that he's there next year? So 2026 versus not there?
I would still probably go like 65% he's not, and then 35% he's there. Or maybe even 60-40, just because, like I said, I feel like there's more leaning towards, if the team is not successful, then he's gone. If the team is highly successful, he's probably going, all right, I've done what I came here to accomplish. I'm leaving it in better hands. You guys can go recruit the way you want to. You got, all the things that you need to do. So yeah, to me, that's kind of the narrative going into the season. But I picked them to go 8-4. If you go 8-4, is that really like, all right, man, I'm out. I accomplished, we beat the teams we were supposed to beat. We went 8-4 with losses to Notre Dame and Duke and Miami and somebody else. And like, is that really like, oh yeah, I've done something. So I don't, it's, again, 9-3 is like, that's kind of the bar. So.
For sure.
Well, look, you could definitely tell Dave Doran cares about beating ECU just based off the comments he made, wanting to kick ECU's ass and go out there and show the world what they can do. What do you make of those comments? Like, do you think that was more motivation for him? Do you think that was more motivation for his team, trying to light a fire, spark under that team, especially after the results of the Military Bowl? What do you make of those comments?
Yeah, those comments were a little bit. I mean, first of all, if you're Dave Doran, you can't make those comments and not think that people are going to take them the way that they did. Those comments apparently were in response to, his thoughts on like, I want to kick that team's ass because of the way that the way that things ended in the last game. Like he took responsibility for the way his players reacted, but he also felt like, this is a team that we really want to beat because of the way things ended in the last game and the way things unfolded. So, again, you can't say those things without people taking it for, in those terms, but it is very serious to him. And you saw it, the 2019 or 2018 game where he talked about, the hook and wanting to break it off and all these different things. And, the 2022 game was about as dramatic as you could possibly get. And that was the first game on the road since, Scotty Montgomery beat them in week 2 of the 2017 season or 2016. Like all those things kind of stick in your craw for a little while there. And yes, they were able to, win pretty strong in both 2018 and 2019. But the way that things have unfolded the last couple games, losing a close game, winning a game that you probably should have lost if it wasn't for a missed field goal, all those things, leave NC State fans going, all right, well, you got to prove it now. Like this team has got to go out there and prove it now. And I'm not sure this is the team to do it. This is a good offensive team, but we'll see if this defense is really, the way that they've kind of built it throughout the fall as a lot of these new faces coming in. So yeah, but to go back to your answer, or your question, it's very serious for Dave Doeren. Yeah.
I wanted to touch on that. I mean, you got a lot of the, I want to say a lot of the star power back in at quarterback, running back, and then of course that big receiver in Justin Jolie. I mean, talk to me about those guys. Talk to me about CJ Bailey and how he's going into his sophomore year after, being kind of thrown to the fire last year as a true freshman.
Yeah, I actually talked about it on our podcast tonight, like the confidence that we're seeing from CJ Bailey. It's completely different than last year. And yes, by midway through the season, he knew the team was his, but it's different when you go into the season, go into the start of the offseason knowing this is my team. Like, you go out there, you're taking all the snaps with the ones, you're the one that's implementing the offense, you're the one that's going out there and building that chemistry, that camaraderie with all these guys. He spent all last offseason with the twos and, at times taking snaps with the ones just to kind of, be ready for it, but nothing like what we've seen this offseason. And I think there's a much different confidence, a much different aura coming off of him this offseason. And, I think a big thing for him that's going to have to get better is making some better decisions. There was a couple interceptions last season that, really kind of changed the way that the games were played. And I think at the same time, it's going to be coming down to, him being able to hit some deep shots a little more, or hitting some of those big time throws a little more often. But the positive thing for him, as you mentioned, a lot of players coming back. The only player you really lose from last season was Casey Concepcion, and he was expected to be the biggest wide receiver on NC State's roster last season. Unfortunately, it ended up just being him being forced into a lot of situations, and it didn't end up working out. He was, they tried to get him as a gadget player in the backfield. They, were trying a lot of little dump passes to get him open and get some big plays, and it didn't work out. But you get guys back like, obviously, as you mentioned, Justin Jolie, that I think has a chance to be, one of the leaders, if not, finish on first or second team All-American as a tight end. If they utilize him the right way, I'm projecting him to get 65 catches and over 850 yards this season. Like, that's how good I think he has a chance to be in this offense. And a major part of that is because you've got Noah Rogers coming back, you've got Wesley Grimes coming back, but neither one of those guys have yet to prove that they can be that lead wide receiver. So I think Justin Jolie is ultimately that guy. And then both of them, as far as outside receivers, can be productive. I'm interested to see if either one of them really takes the throne. We've heard a lot about Noah Rogers as far as a receiver during this fall camp. Wesley Grimes ran a 4.2440 right before they got to fall camp. They were doing the final testing, and I think the fastest 40 ever in the NFL Combine was like a 4.21. So that's as close as you can get. And that was a laser time 40. So he's got some elite speed that can be game changing. It's just, can they utilize that? And then the last piece in all of this, Hollywood Smothers, I say last, but like, he has a chance to be, I've said, I think he has a chance to be similar to Nyheim Hines, the way Nyheim Hines was back in 2017. Like, he was the MVP of that team. Anytime he was out there on the field, you felt like there was a potential game-changing type play that could happen. And when he was off the field, when he was not healthy, they lost a lot of games that they should have won that season. So I think he has a chance to be that kind of impact player. They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since the 2019 season, and I think he has a chance to be that guy, given the fact that, they really have kind of propelled him to be that top guy, and they haven't really gone out and gotten a true second back. They had one transfer in the spring because Duke Scott pushed him kind of out the door as a second back, but I really feel like I feel like Hollywood Smothers is going to end up being that lead guy for NC State and be probably the offensive MVP for them.
And kind of switching gears, I just want to ask you about the defense. I know you said that there's some holes, kind of, question marks on defense. We also have some question marks on defense, especially our D-line and front seven. What do you think are some bright spots on the defense and kind of the things that you have to shore up to be successful, or at least somewhat successful on defense?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest question mark for NC State is really the defensive backfield. They had a lot of guys that they lost this past offseason. Tamarcus Cooley that made some big plays in that game. He ended up transferring to LSU. You had Brandon Cisse, that was a big one, that transferred out at cornerback and went to South Carolina. But they went out and they got some really experienced players, one of them being Jamel Johnson, one of them being Brian Nelson, both at the cornerback position. I expect them to really battle for the opposite side, and I think that's still going to go into the season. I think Brian Nelson is probably the starter there, but Jamel Johnson is a guy that can push him, has experience, played at Temple for multiple seasons as a starter. And then you have a guy like Devon Marshall that's coming back from last season. He really emerged as the leader there in the cornerback room when Brandon Cisse was injured. One of the things I really like that they've done is they've switched a little bit. They're going to be multiple. So you'll see them go to kind of a 4-2-5. You'll see them at times have what's, a hybrid 3-3-5 where they have more of a pass rushing linebacker out there. And then sometimes they'll go to that 4 where you have more of a pass rushing 4 guy. So I expect them to always have like a pass rushing specialist on the field, just whether it's a defensive end or a linebacker trying to stunt them in to those positions. But Kean Sloan has been one that's been talked about a lot this offseason, comes over from Utah State, former Mountain West all second team player for them last year. He thought his career was over. And then the JUCO rule took place. He spent 2 years at JUCO, 2 years at Utah State, and now has a chance to come to NC State and be, potentially a starter, depending on what they utilize. If you start with a 4-2-5, he's probably going to come in with a 3-3. So there's just a lot of different things that are moving around on this defense. Another one was Trey Thomas that came over from Temple as well. He was a starter the year that DJ Elliott, who's the new defensive coordinator for NC State, he had his most productive year under DJ Elliott. He leaves for 2 years, and he kind of, fell back a little bit in terms of sacks that he's had the past 2 years. But now he comes into this year. It's like, all right, can DJ Elliott unlock that again and him be, a guy that can, drive up a little bit of those sacks again, like he did 2 years ago. And then the last one in all of this that they bring over as well was a guy in JJ Johnson, that in the defensive backfield for NC State at safety. They lost a couple guys there, as I mentioned, but with him coming in, they feel like he's a guy that comes over from Georgia State, a multi-year starter, and somebody that has a lot to prove. He's a little bit undersized at the safety position, but they really like what he brings. So you've replaced a lot, but you brought in a lot of veteran experience, and they feel like the depth is much deeper than it was last season to be able to really push for a lot of those spots.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. I mean, Dave Doran, pretty much entire new coordinator staff. I mean, it is, right? Kurt Roper on the offense, moving up from an assistant role into the offensive coordinator. And then DJ Elliott coming in as DC. What are you expecting to change on this team from years past to this year, just based on the coaching changes?
Well, on offense, hopefully more tempo, because you can't get any slower than they've been the past 2 years. I mean, I don't know.
Did you watch Donnie Kirkpatrick's offense a couple years ago?
I'm just saying the past 2 years, look, but yeah, I mean, the tempo 2 years ago, it was understandable. They ended up having to go to the offense just wasn't good enough, and they were attempting to wear down defenses more so than anything and keep their defense off the field. This past year, you had the players to do it. You didn't need to go as slow a tempo as they did, but everything we've heard from Kurt Roper is the fact that they've simplified things a little bit more. So it's more of, plays off of plays as opposed to, all right, we're going to throw the kitchen sink at you and we're going to try to, set up 3 wide receivers over here, 2 offensive linemen, flex with 2 tight ends over here, and then 3 players in the middle. Like those plays, from what we're told, are more than likely gone. But I think they've simplified it a little bit to be able to really utilize the playmakers that they have on the offensive side of the football, because you have so many across the board. You shouldn't have to be like, all right, we've really got to find a way to get Justin Jolie across the middle or something along those lines. There's too many playmakers to try to do little gadget plays with players that you're like, we've got to get the ball in their hands. There's enough to go around. And then over on the defensive side of the football, what I'm expecting, I mean, I mentioned earlier, I think you're going to see multiple schemes. You're going to see a 4-2-5 come back for this team a little bit, but there might also be times where they put a 4-3 on the field, given the fact that you're trying to, stop the run. You want to get as many big bodies out there as you can. But it's going to be really difficult at any stage of college football right now to not have 5 cornerbacks out or not have 5 DBs out there on the field. And you're seeing that across college football, unless you just feel like, all right, we've got shut down guys. And for State, even though they might like to go to 4-3 at times, there's not those 2 guys where you're like, all right, we've got the shutdown corners. We've got a linebacker that can cover a slot receiver or a tight end. Like, you're going to have those DBs out there. And I think for NC State, you'll see a little bit multiple, but the thing that they're really trying to go to is having that stand-up edge rusher, as opposed to what they've had the past few seasons, which has been, all right, the biggest dude you can possibly put in the middle of his defensive line, and the linebackers are going to be the guys that are going to go after the quarterback or the running back. No, now you will have a stand-up edge that'll be, a pass rusher there, and you might even have the linebacker on the outside to try to, run stunts and things like that to be able to get after the quarterback too. And that's the biggest thing, is they're really trying to get after the quarterback, really affect what you do. They haven't, DJ Elliott hasn't had a top 50 defense all 9 years that he's ever coached at the college level. But what he's done is every team that he's gone to, when you talk about, points or points allowed and offensive yards allowed, but what he's done is gone in there and affected teams and, gotten quarterbacks off balance. He's gone out there and gotten, try to force interceptions or fumbles. And that leads to, offenses being off balance and your offense being able to get more opportunities to score the football. And I think that's where this team is going to have to live, is probably winning games in the 30s and low 40s to be able to get out of this season.
And then specifically, I want to ask you for this game, what would you say the vibes are like? Talking to the guys around the locker room, around the coaching staff, maybe around campus. How do you think the vibes are just around NC State, the locker room in general, for this Thursday night game? What do you see? Yeah,
I mean, I think the vibes for NC State as a whole for the football team are very high. I think the fan base and media, it's kind of a wait and see approach right now, because as much access as the media gets for ECU and gets to go out there to practices, we've gotten one open hour all off season. We've seen one open hour. They didn't have a spring game. So it's literally just wait and see right now. And we're basing a lot of it off of, people that we know that have been able to go out to practice, or sources and things like that. And what we're hearing. And then, the players, every time we talk to the players, it's like, all right, we love what this guy gives us. We love, and you ask them who's been stepping up, and everybody says the same thing. And you're like, all right, well, this guy's ready for the next step. But everything we've heard from the team, there's this chip on the shoulder mentality, and Dave Doran talks about it every single season. And I feel like there's a perpetual chip on his shoulder, but all these players are really buying into it. And you get the vibe that, like, this team understands the circumstances here. There's a lot of new players, but they all understand, like, we came here for one collective reason, and that was to better this program and to, better ourselves and have a chance to really push for something special. Now, whether or not they're all going to get to something truly special, like being able to get to an ACC championship or something along those lines, I don't know. But they do very much have a chance to compete in every single game they play this season. And it's going to come down to execution at the end of games. And that's exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
Love that. Look, I want the best for NC State after Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me be the first to say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Blake Harrell seems like a really good dude, man. Like, I want success for him. I mean, going back, like, I used to have a neighbor that lived right next to me, and when they hired Scotty Montgomery, I was like, look, man, I've covered this guy at Duke. I really like him. I think he's going to be great. And then 3 years later, he was like, dude, I'm never listening to another thing you say ever in your life. So
we thought Scotty was getting hired too. So
that week, I mean, we talk about it all the time on this podcast. I mean, you go 2-0 to start your career with a win over NC State, and then you go into South Carolina that week 3
and almost
of that 2016 year.
Yeah.
And I believe they lost 15-10. Josh on the back end can check me on that. It was either 2015 or 15-10. I remember you lost by 5 points, and Artie and I were there, and everybody in Columbia was telling us, y'all should have beat us. And then it goes from that to the shit show that it was for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Of Scotty Montgomery. But Josh, what you got?
20-17. 20-17.
Oh, it was even closer than I thought. I thought it was 5 points. Wow.
Yeah.
But no, the Scotty Montgomery era is an era that if we could just forget ever happened, if we could just go back and bring back Ruffin McNeil for that time period, like I'd be happy with it. I'd be fine with it. And I guess, I mean, Ruffin, it's crazy to see him in red every time we do it.
It is.
I hate seeing it.
I will say this. It was crazy for him to, like, when we first talked to him after he took the job, and he was like, yeah, I didn't think I'd ever be here, but here we go.
That's one that I would love to have in our offices. I'll just say that. But no,
he's doing great things on campus with you guys. So
yeah,
I'll say, like, Blake Harrell at ECU, and I think this could be said for many of the public schools in North Carolina. Maybe not the one in Chapel Hill, but I think that you need a head coach that understands their fan base, understands their community. And it seems like Dave, for the most part, has bought into that fan base and bought into the culture. I mean, he's been there 13 years, so obviously he's had to, right? Yeah. But Blake, Coach Harrell has done that at ECU. He did it as a coordinator, and he's continued that as the head coach. And I'll say, like, that is culture at both ECU and NC State. Honestly, the blue collar universities in this state, the hardworking universities in this state, that's what you need. Somebody that knows that culture and can cultivate that culture. Now, I wanted to just kind of ask you straight up. We've talked about playing this game on paper at the beginning of it. We're over a little under 72 hours away from figuring it out. But tell me, like, what does, and you could give me an answer for both sides. What does ECU need to do to win this football game, and what does NC State need to do to win this football game?
I mean, I think for both sides, it's going to come down to who gets the most stops. I mean, who comes away with, stops late. Because to me, for NC State, the one benefit that I think they truly have going into this is the fact that there is some mystery surrounding this defense. There is some mystery surrounding this offense. There's a lot of the same playmakers, but all right, how much are they going to actually switch under Kurt Roper? And then on the defensive side of the football, it's completely different. So you have to take advantage of that early on. Throw some things at Caden Hauser that he didn't see in the last game, that he's not expecting. There's a lot of new playmakers on this team. They've got to be able to take advantage of that, get after him early, rattle him early, and then come away with a pick or something like that to kind of change the momentum, because there's going to be some nerves for NC State fans going into this one. Like, all right, man, y'all got to show us something, get us hype. Like, there's going to be some hype at the beginning, but if ECU comes out there and scores in the opening drive, and even if NC State comes out there and scores in the opening drive, they're still going to be like, all right, this can't happen again. But I think for ECU, the key is going to be, getting that receiving game going, because it does sound like, you guys have some pretty productive backs that you feel good about. There's not, that lead guy that's proven right now, but that passing game with Anthony Smith, Yannick Smith, both of those guys, especially for Anthony Smith coming back to Carter Finley Stadium for the first time after transferring 2 years ago from NC State, like if those guys get going against this secondary, like that could be the key for them being able to find a way to win a close game. And then for NC State, the key is going to be, being able to kind of, win in a track race. Cause I don't know that this defense is going to make a ton of stops. I think ECU at minimum gets over 20 points in this game. So for NC State, are you willing to keep going? Are you willing to, try to push the envelope and try to get to 35, 40 points and really try to win this game that way? Look, I see the spread at 14 now. I know it was 11 and a half, 12 and a half earlier. But really, I think this is a tighter game than that. I mean, I think at the very least, it probably ends up, a 7-10 game, 7 to 10 point advantage for whoever ends up winning it. But I feel like NC State wins this game, but I think in a major, one of the reasons is because of the fact that there are some stops late from this defense. They get their bearings about them. And the fact that there's a little more depth on the defensive side of the football for NC State this year, and they can roll out multiple guys and be fresh by the end of the game.
And I want to kind of touch on one piece there, and Robert in the comments was talking about it earlier when you were talking about subbing on defense. This offense wants to run super high tempo, like you talk about Kurt Roper wanting to up the tempo. Mm-hmm. Some of that JDB, Coach Baker at ECU has really been on. Last year they were running at a lightning fast pace. With that, do you think like that and the combination of speed on ECU, like being able to try to catch them in a package that they can't get off the field, plays in favor for ECU?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do, and I want to say first of all, I appreciate Robert for the comment. He actually jumped on our podcast earlier tonight, so Robert is taking in all the NC State ECU comments and our podcast tonight. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that's tricky for NC State, especially when you're talking about the defensive line in particular. They really like obviously what they have at the top, of the starting defensive line, but they really want to be able to get guys in like Sebastian Harsh and a couple others that they feel good about going into the season. But yeah, I mean, I think some of this is going to be kind of going based off of each and every single drive. You're probably going to be able to try to put out different guys out there at the start of a drive. And then, all right, third down situation. Okay, they've got to go to a huddle to figure out exactly what they want to do. Now this is where we put our guys, put a different group of guys in and have them fresh and ready to go. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely something that's going to be interesting to watch because, obviously ECU does run a high, very high up tempo style of offense. And we saw it, kind of kill NC State at times last season in that bowl game. But, for State, it's like, all right, get ready. And have multiple guys that are ready to stay out there for multiple plays, and then the next drive have the exact same situation. So I think that could be where it changes things for State. Now DBs is not as deep as it is in the front six or front seven, however they end up running it. But I do feel like they'll be able to be productive enough and have enough rotations in that front to be able to still be good to go by the end of the game too.
Awesome. Well, Artie, do you have anything else? I feel like now put the paper away. Let's get on the gridiron and play this thing. Josh,
I have one question for
Yes.
Corey. I know you also cover recruiting, so I just wanted to know how you felt about the two guys down in Millbrook, Quentin and Rashad. Do you think NC State actually has a chance at landing them?
Yeah, well, Quentin Cypher, they're still making a major push for him, even though he wasn't, NC State wasn't included in his top 11. So that's kind of a dicey one right now. But as far as Rashad Streets, they're still pushing really hard for him too. He hasn't, cut them out or anything along those lines, and they're still pushing to get. But they're still two very young guys. They're in the 2027 class. So, but we got a chance to actually see them and, a couple others this past week, 2 weeks ago at the high school OT event that they had. And they, as of right now, State is still saying they're making a push for him, but look, man, things could change drastically over the next 3 to 4 months, and you might see an entirely new staff. We don't even know. So, it's funny because you mentioned the defensive guys. Every NC State fan that I ever run into is like, so Gunnar Rivers, like, are they going to actually get this kid? I'm like, look, man, like Gunnar Rivers right now is getting talked to by every team in Alabama, the SEC, like. NC State would love to be in those discussions. They've gotten him on campus. They've done their part, and obviously there's a connection with Phillip there. But I don't know that he comes to a staff that's in flux, or he comes to a team that there's a lot of question marks going into next season, or even the following season when he's actually supposed to come on campus in 2027. So all those things are in flux right now for NC State. I think that's again one of the major things. Like, all right. Unless you have success this season, there's like something's got to give here. So
somebody call up Vince McMahon, tell him to open up the pocketbook. Let's get Gunnar Rivers at ECU.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
And NC State is still waiting on a couple of big boosters to actually start caring about athletics as well. So, just one billionaire that happens to live in the state and just does not care. Now gives to NC State for, Jim Goodnight is who I'm talking about here, but gives to NC State for all different things for the university side and, all the engineering things that they could possibly ever ask for. But yeah, once you get to talking about athletics, it's like, I'm good. So
yeah, we've got plenty of those at ECU. I mean, Mr. Beast, why don't you do a challenge of, hey, how much money can I donate to a university?
There you go.
All right, Corey, thank you again for coming on the Boneyard podcast. Always a pleasure talking to you. Best of luck this season. Hopefully, look, like I said, I'll say when we play each other, I want the best. If we can pull off a win this weekend, this Thursday, we need y'all to help our resume a little bit, and hopefully vice versa. But then any other time, yeah, y'all can go 0-12 for all I care. But
yeah,
kidding, Corey. Best of luck to you. Thank you again for coming on, especially on short notice. We really do appreciate it. Go ahead and tell everybody, if they're not already following you, where they can catch your stuff.
Yeah, so my personal accounts, just about everywhere, it's at Corey Smith. Corey is spelled Cory, so I like to say that all the time. And then, as far as Pack Pride, obviously you can head over to packpride.com. Look, we're running 50% off deal right now. So if you're not already on any other places, look, 24/7 is right now we're doing a big promo leading up to the season. So we'd love for people to jump on. And then as far as Pack Pride is concerned, at Pack Pride on X, the Pack Pride account on Facebook, Pack Pride on Instagram, everywhere else. So yeah, that's the easiest way to find us.
Love it. Well, Corey, we'll talk to you again. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon. Maybe come baseball season, we'll get back with you.
Yes, sir.
Until then, have a good one, my friend.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, Corey Smith from Pack Pride joining us on the Boneyard podcast. Artie, it's time to put up or shut up.
I'll put up or shut up. I like what he said. We keep talking about it, but now it's just like, okay, we said enough. Let's just get to Thursday.
I mean, we've been talking about this. That's the thing with these two teams playing in the bowl game last year, and especially how it all ended. That's the thing, right? This game has been talked about. Usually you start talking about the team in spring, right? Like, okay, we're ready for football season. No, we've been talking about this game since
the military bowl ended. It's been continuous.
Even before then. We've been talking about it since the military bowl game was announced. What, early December?
Yeah.
We're talking 10 months of talking about the same game, the same players, everything. We've been talking about this for 10 months. Talking about how crazy it is that, we're going to end the season with them and then start next year. What does that mean for next year? If you win this game, what does it mean? If you lose this game, what does it mean? Oh, you won this game. Now, how are you going to use that? Right? We can't do that anymore. It is time to put the cleats on, put the pads on, and bang skulls.
I love it.
I'm so ready. If you couldn't tell, I'm so ready.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell, Jerry.
Artie,
Talk to me.
I asked you for your gut check earlier. How are you feeling after talking to Corey?
I still feel good, man. And I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to laugh at other people's misery, but I do like the fact that there's some question marks on that defense. I like that he was open and honest with us about his assessment of NC State. And I do think that our offense and our tempo of our offense, if there's holes, we've got to exploit that, and we've got to hit them hard and hit them heavy. So we've got to be, because I agree. I think it's going to be a track. I think the first half is going to be sloppy. It's the first game of the season. I think there's going to be some mistakes. I think it's going to be a little bit of sloppiness. That second half, both offenses are going to come alive. So I agree with which offense is going to make those final plays going down the stretch to win that game.
Yeah, I think, much like you said, I think the first half will probably be sloppy. A lot of emotion, a lot of intensity. Who can make the least amount of mistakes in that first half, get to halftime, maybe you get to halftime tied with a small lead, and then can you build on that, make adjustments and build on that in the second half? That's football, right? Like, that's what it is. But I think it's going to be even more so amplified this game.
Yeah.
Just with everything that's going into it.
If it's a true track meet, I like us. I do.
I would agree. And just like Corey was saying, let's not make any like false judgments or anything. ECU has a lot of the same question marks
on defense. Yes, absolutely.
On defense,
we have not showed up.
And you can talk about, okay, let's look at it. The QB room, and I know Holton Naylor's got a bunch of flack for saying that he was taking Caden Hauser over CJ Bailey in this game all day long. And I think there's an argument to be made there for sure. But looking at this game, Artie, looking at this game, I think if you were to try to handicap it, quarterback at worst is a push. In my opinion, I think that's a push. Caden Hauser, 100% healthy. He said this is the healthiest he's been in years. So, I'm going off of what the man's telling me.
Right. Maybe
that's just football talk, and there's something there, but I don't get that. Right? The running back room, NC State has the best running back in this game. They got Hollywood Smothers. He's the best running back in this game.
Yeah, you got Corey talking about maybe 1,000 yards. So
I do think that past Bailey and past Smothers, and Dave Doran's not, he said he's not going to release a depth chart. Blake Harrell released his depth chart today. I still don't know that Dave Doran is, because Dave Doran, never mind. Anyways, I don't think that looking at it on paper, the 2 deep or even 3 deep on the depth chart is as deep at those positions as they are at ECU.
Yeah.
ECU, do they have a number one back? I don't think so. Not right now. Is one going to emerge? I think there will be one by week 4 or 5. We're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is our guy. I have an idea of who I think it's going to be, but I think going into the season, it's going to be running back by committee, and you're going to have 3 guys that are going to share the load, and each of those guys, and we've talked about it, each of those guys can do a lot of things very well and can be serviceable at this level of football. You talk about it. Marlon Gunn averages 5.5 yards per carry. He just hasn't had the carries.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Wide receiver position, on paper, I like ECU.
I like ECU as well. Yeah.
The speed, the tempo, I like ECU. Anthony Smith, Yannick Smith. I don't think you're going to find a much better 1-2 duo around the conference, and it's going to be one of the better duos that NC State faces all year at the wide receiver position. Throw in Quez Petaway. That I like that. Lots of speed on at the wide receiver room. Tight end. We went on and on about Desario Riles last week. I really like that, but at the end of the day, Justin Jolie does exist, and he's probably, I mean, he is the better tight end. Now you get to the offensive line. There's a lot of question marks on ECU's offensive line, but there have been for years now.
Yeah, I mean, since I was 2 years old, there's been question marks on ECU's offensive line.
So, I mean, I would probably give that one to NC State, right? Now, when you get to the defense, we've talked about this every time we've done a position preview. We've talked about, like, okay, ECU's not returning as many starters. Yeah, but when you start counting up the numbers of snaps, it's not like these guys are playing in their first college football game.
Right. There's experience there. It's a lot of transfers and still unknown, but there's experience, and that's the good thing about the guys coming in. They have,
and
snaps.
even the guys that have been here, they just weren't listed as a starter in a game, right? There's only one play that you can be listed as the starter, and that's the first play. The first play on defense or offense, they number out the starters. Okay, that's it. So if you weren't on the field for that first play, you weren't considered a starter. That's something that I feel like, unless you're talking 12 starts, throw that number out the window, especially in this day and age in college football. And then when it comes down to special teams, I feel like it's gonna be a crapshoot.
Yeah, I'm not.
I hope to God this game does not come down to special teams.
That we got to be honest, call a spade a spade. No one should be confident in special teams until they prove otherwise. Honestly.
Right.
So,
I mean, but all in all, I think ECU is maybe on defense, maybe a little bit better up front. And I know that's been a lot of people's question marks.
If you get some sort of a pass rush.
I like the guys that you have brought back on this front seven. I do. So they put pressure. They've gotten a lot of pressure.
Right.
Can they put CJ Bailey on the ground? That's the question. Can they hit Hollywood Smothers in the backfield? That's the question. I said it last night. I went on the Inside Pack Sports podcast. It'll come out, I believe, tomorrow. And one of the things I said was, whichever team can rattle the quarterback quicker, I think it's going to win the game. I do think while CJ Bailey is coming into his sophomore year, and he's the number one guy there, he knows it. Mm-hmm. He's the nerves have worn off of being the starter. He did that last year. I do think that if you can get in his grill and hit him, even if it's not a sack, like if you can hit him as he throws the ball.
Yeah, a lot of pressures, a lot of quarterback hurries.
If you can do that, I think he's going to start hearing footsteps. And we've seen Caden Hauser. That man is that man's as cool as a cucumber, man. I don't know anything that can rattle that guy. Now, I haven't seen him at NC State on a Thursday night to start the season.
Right.
But I don't think much rattles him. So that's my take on all of this. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. I know that the 14-point, I think it's a 14-point spread now. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's absolutely asinine.
So somebody won a lot of money taking Idaho State to cover the spread over the weekend and put it all on NC State. I don't know. Maybe it's that Goodnight fellow that Corey was talking about. Maybe he's trying to bankroll. Josh, what's next? We've talked a lot about NC State, ECU, and of course, and rightfully so. Anything else we got to get to before we get into anything else in the gambling corner? Walk the plank.
No, unless you want to go over a couple of the new rules, but
yeah, we can do that. I wanted real quick to talk about some of these. There's a couple in here. The first one, that timeout in the extra periods.
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be you got one timeout per period.
yes, every period.
Now it's you get a timeout in the first two, and then after that you get one more the rest of the game.
Yes.
So that way, go ahead.
One timeout in the first extra period, one timeout in the second extra period, and then after those 2 periods,
right,
each team gets one
no
until the end of the game.
I like that.
I mean, that way you don't have the situation you had in the Georgia Tech game.
Right.
But here's the catcher. But here's the catcher, guys. In addition, media timeouts will only be permitted after the first and second extra periods. So from third on, you don't even get a media timeout.
But that most likely that's going to be in between drives.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like they won't have a media time. Like it'll just be you just keep going. Like you go now. Instead of meeting, like stopping halfway through the field, right. Talking with the coach for a little bit. Like, no, this is like legit. Like you're just going back and forth.
I like it. I like it.
I love it. I love it. I don't want to see 7, 8, 9 overtime. And honestly, personally, I hate the overtime setup in college football anyway. Why the hell are we giving the team the ball at the 25-yard line? It makes absolutely no sense to me. You're already putting the team in field goal position. It's asinine. But I like it. Keep the game going.
I don't know. Maybe it's the 2017 Super Bowl fan in me, the Falcons fan in me. I think each team. I want each team to get the ball. I like the college football setup.
25-yard line. What are we doing?
But then you have to go for 2 in the third one, At
least bring it to the 50. At least make the offense actually drive somewhat the length of the field.
I'll give you that.
35. I'll give you 35. Nothing 35. Beyond that.
I mean,
that's 3 first downs. That's 3. If you can't get 2 first downs and then kick a field goal, okay, I get it.
Because the reason why teams are going to 6, 7, 8 overtimes is because the offense is getting the ball at the 25. They're really not having to do much. They're just not.
Yeah, but then it's dueling 2-point conversions.
Yeah, exactly. That's a 2-point conversion game. Then it's just
now. There's a rule, and it's never happened. There's a rule in hockey, and I'd have to check on like exactly how this rule works. It's like when you get to 9 overtimes, and you can only do 9 overtimes in the playoffs. If you get to 9 overtimes, they throw a second puck out there, and they play with 2 pucks. And I think if you get to 10 overtimes, maybe it's 11. It's 10 or 11 overtimes. Nobody knows what happens because it's sealed in a briefcase. And it's only to be opened if they're in the event that there's a 10th overtime. I need that in college football.
At that point, you're so exhausted. Nobody's getting the 9, 10 overtimes.
Could you imagine playing like some kind of having to bring it down to a kick? Like, okay, we're gonna you get the ball first. Okay, we're gonna choose to kick a 35-yard field goal. Okay, and then the other guy has to match it. Okay, now we're gonna choose to kick a 45-yard from the right hash. Like, could you imagine if it got down to that? Like 12th overtime.
With the way college kickers go, we're gonna get 10 to 12 overtime.
No, but I'm saying like if it's still not decided after 9, 10 overtimes, you go to like a kickoff.
But if the team that places the ball misses, so say on that second one, the 45 misses, the responding kicker only has to kick where the last one was.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a little too playground for me. A little too playground. I like it though.
Artie, honestly, this is Josh Pate's thing, but maybe we should just be the commissioners of college football.
College football commissioners, baby. We could do a lot better than the community got now.
All right, what's next? The instant replay.
Yeah, instant replay. So confirmed and stands is being replaced by the word upheld.
Mm-hmm.
So no more of that, we've confirmed that it was there or it was upheld, whatever. It's just going to be upheld. Like that was a ruling, upheld, further review, overturn, XYZ. Real easy and simple. Real easy and simple.
Gotcha. And then I think out of the rest of them, the defenseless player one is interesting. Now anybody that's trying to recover a loose ball is added to the list of defenseless players. Yeah, the others, I mean, the scrimmage kick formation, that's interesting, but I don't think that I'm going to be like paying much attention to if somebody's lined up in a kick formation because that's just like the kick formation.
Right.
I think the one interesting thing there, and it has to do with, and I think we talked about it last week, when the snapper snaps the ball, the defender who is lined up on the shoulder of that center or that snapper has to wait 1 second before engaging with that snapper. And so I'm like, are we actually going to have somebody going 1 Mississippi before they engage with a snapper?
Right. How do you
want to talk about playground, Artie? That's playground.
But here's the thing. If the snapper is on the end of the line, they are an eligible receiver and lose their protection. This actually comes in handy because I watched the Mallard Creek game from Friday, and they did a shovel snap. So instead of snapping it between the legs,
mm-hmm.
he basically took it from a 3-point stance and threw it sideways behind the line that was blocking to a receiver. He catches the ball, and it's just nothing but the line in front of him. It's basically what was it New England that tried that against the Colts, or was it the Colts against New England? It was one of the two. I know it was that game, but it's just a weird formation. It was great. A 2-point conversion. They didn't need it, but
something they tried and it worked.
And it worked. And the referee was, all right, you got it. I actually want to see you try it.
But I know the game you're talking about with the Colts. It was the Colts trying it against the Patriots, and it was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you had what was it, Pat McAfee like lined up just by himself, or Adam Vinatieri lined up by himself?
Yeah,
it's just
all the way off to the left or the right, and dude just got smothered by.
I don't think anybody's going to actually try that. I say that, but somebody's got it probably scripted in their playbook.
Mallard Creek just did it.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about in college.
But that's also high school. You can get away with stuff like that in high school ball. So
yeah, where film is basically non-existent most of the time. Like
no, man.
Bigger schools, yes. No, the Mallard Creeks of the world.
Yeah, but
film
like
is everywhere.
You go down to South Davidson High School in Denton, North Carolina. They probably never seen a camera down there. I'm kidding. Denton, do not get on to me. All right, walk the plank. Anybody got to walk the plank?
Ooh, do I have a walk the plank? I don't think I do. Nothing going on. It's not yet.
We were talking in the group chat earlier about AI. Did y'all see like the thing that's been passed around on NC State Twitter this afternoon?
No.
Josh, did you see this?
I don't think so.
Deep fake of a DM with Coach Baker.
No.
Jeez. Wow.
Like, there's good fun in a rivalry, but trying to make it look like a man is cheating.
That's taking it too far.
Come on.
Way too far.
If you're doing that, you can go fuck yourself. Sorry. And it was AI. It's AI. If you're getting duped by it, it's AI, which I don't think any ECU fan is dumb enough to get duped by it, but I could tell a bunch of NC State fans were. So that's number one. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Nothing else. Go ahead, Josh.
First, I'd like to say, walk the plank to you decide. Ohio State has banned Dave Portnoy from the stadium, and he's on Fox's crew that's going to do the pregame show.
Yep.
At Ohio State.
Yep.
So walk the plank to whoever you think that belongs to in that situation.
Well, Portnoy, first off, great Michigan fan, but he definitely pokes fun at Ohio State in a pretty disrespectful ways. I love it, but I somewhat get it too.
Yeah. No, that's just Ohio State being soft.
Let's be petty. Yeah, let's be petty.
And then my second one is walk the plank to these jerseys. Adidas,
yeah.
You did good script with Kansas. You did good script with ECU. Mississippi State. This one's just not doing it for me.
No.
I don't mind this. It's not great, but I don't mind it.
I mean, the uniform as a whole, I don't mind.
Right.
It's the specifically the script, like the swirl into the end, but the end still having like that very sharp top. Like if you can do the swirl, do it, make it completely swirl. You know, it's just I don't know.
Yeah. Also, I don't mind the script on the jersey. The script on the helmet just, to me, doesn't look good. I don't know.
Yeah.
The placement of it doesn't look good to me. But I don't really care. What have they released what ECU is wearing?
Likely all white.
I'm thinking all white. Or
with a black top.
I was thinking black helmet.
Yes.
With a gold face mask.
Is that your prediction, or is that
is my prediction?
Is that prediction founded on anything, or
not at all?
That is a good unit. The all whites with the black top.
I think that's where we're gonna end up going. I also wouldn't be upset to see the all white with the purple top.
The purple chrome.
Just no chrome anymore.
No more chrome.
Chrome is gone.
Wow.
Chrome is out.
Damn.
The new purples though.
Seasonal.
The new purples, man. Those are really nice.
They're fire.
It's really
fire.
nice.
And give me a purple face. Like give me the white and purple. Just a clean look. Clean look.
All white though. Whether it's a purple top or black top, it's got to be all white.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the purple pants, but no, I think
I like the stormtrooper look.
I do like the all white. It should be announced tomorrow, I would think.
I would assume.
Who knows? They could play in pink, and I don't care. ECU by 90. All right. That's good for walk the plank. Let's get to our first gambling corner. I guess second gambling corner of the year.
First official.
First official. Last week was a last week. I feel like we did pretty good last week.
I think we did pretty good. I don't think anybody kept score, but
No. This
Yeah.
week's when the score starts. We're gonna keep track of it. Pick your fighter now. Whether you want to trail me or fade Josh or just ride with Artie all year long. Pick one now, and let's see how we do.
So first game, we've got Coastal Carolina at Virginia, our upcoming opponent that has a line. Coastal Carolina plus 380. Virginia minus 400. Virginia is an 11.5-point home favorite. The over-under is 58.5. Where are we going with this one?
I feel like there's question marks on both of these programs. And I don't know. So Virginia, I feel like they were turning a corner a couple years ago, but I'm really not too sure about Virginia. It's at home. I don't think they're going to be terrible. Coastal's not, any sort of juggernaut either. I'm going to go with the home team. I think Coastal covers the spread. I'm going home team, Virginia. And then over under, give me the under. I don't think this is a slugfest shootout.
I have a feeling this is going to be a sloppy game. I think, I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about Virginia right now. I don't know that anybody really does.
Yeah, who does know a ton about Virginia? Charlottesville.
Yeah, I mean, if you know a ton about Virginia, congrats to you. You are leaps and bounds above the Boneyard podcast, probably. But I'm gonna go Virginia in this game. I do think that they'll end up covering. That 11.5 is tough though. Give me Virginia to cover, and I'm gonna take the over though. I think it's sloppy, but I think it's sloppy on defense. I think it turns into like kind of like a shootout that Virginia pulls away late.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Virginia to win and to cover and the over. And I think this sets up very nicely for ECU's letdown on the road in week 3. So
way to bury the lead there.
It's bound to happen.
Josh is thinking like a gambling corner 3 weeks down the road.
You have to. You have to make the play based on the next play. Right?
Chess, not checkers.
Call your third down for your fourth down.
Which I have a chess, not checkers play that I'll talk to y'all about after the show. In next my first fantasy draft of the year, I got a good one. Okay. All right, next game.
Got the regional matchup: Appalachian State minus 230 in Charlotte, but not at Charlotte, who is plus 88 underdogs on this one. Charlotte is a 6.5-point dog in the hometown, and the over-under is 50.5. Hey, I mean, both head coaches are offensive guys, right? Tim Albin's offensive guy, right?
Yeah.
Loggins is the former NFL QB coach, right? Like, come on, what's going on here?
I like App State here. I don't have much faith in Charlotte this year at all. I know they brought in some of the guys from Tim Albin's team at Ohio. You could put Charlotte on our gambling corner just about every week, and I'm going to pick against them. I'm taking Appalachian State. I think they cover. And like you said, I'm going to take the over. I feel like you're going to have a lot of overs in week 1.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna agree with that completely. I think App State wins. I don't have faith in Charlotte. I think it's a rebuilding year for them. I think App State bounces back a little bit this year too. Give me App, give me the over, and give me App to cover. Is this being played in the bank?
Yep. In the bank. Yeah. In the bank. See, I think this Friday night is going to be a good Friday night for the guys in Charlotte because they're going to pull it off. I have sneaky suspicion that they're going to pull this one off. That App State is not going to be nearly as strong as people expect them to be. But today was announced that Connor Harrell, UNC transfer, is going to be the starting quarterback for Charlotte. I think that's going to play into this very well. So obviously Charlotte to cover. And I'm actually going to go with the under, but barely an under. Barely.
We're in the 20s for this game.
Yes, 20s and 20s, or 20s and teens maybe.
Okay.
I just don't think App State has the quarterback to do it. On to our national game, the big game, the craziest week 1 game I think we've seen in all of history. Number 1, Texas is plus 100 on the road at the big the horseshoe, whatever it's called. I'm not an Ohio State guy. Number 3, Ohio State, who is minus 120, 2.5-point favorite at home, which is basically, pretty even. Yep. The over-under is 47.5. The start of the Arch Manning era, start of the Julian Sayin era. I mean, number 1 team is the underdog.
Yeah. Yeah.
What time is this game? What time is this game?
This game's early.
It's noon, right? I think
this noon.
It's noon. Yeah, big noon kickoff.
Yeah. The Ohio State games and Michigan games are always a noon. No matter who they play, they always put us in noon. So
big noon kickoff.
Absurd. This is not an 8 p.m. kick under the lights, but
I don't even like. You can't really say anything about the quarterback play because both teams are going into it with a new quarterback. I mean, Arch has been there, still wasn't the quarterback last year. Jesus, this is a wild game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a natty week 1, pretty much. That's basically what you got to pick.
I'm gonna go with the home team on this one. I'm gonna go Ohio State. I think they cover minus 2.5, and I'll take the under. I said earlier a lot of overs. I think this is a game that we may get an under.
Okay. Yeah, I understand Ohio State being the favorite. They're at home at the shoe. It's 2.5 is basically a wash anyway. So
that's a push.
Yeah, but Texas should still be pissed off about it. They're the number 1 team in the country. If I'm Steve Sarkisian, I'm definitely using that as jet fuel. Give me Texas, and probably not the prettiest 1 versus 3 you're going to see because it is a noon kick, week 1. But give me Texas. Give me the under. And I think it's a sloppy game, but it's still probably a pretty decent game.
And then before we do our game, we did it last year. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I can't. What?
I didn't get to remember pick.
Oh, jeez. Josh, go ahead.
Just cut me out, dude. Just cut me out.
I was thinking you're picking for week 3 right now. Sorry.
No. See, look, I've got Texas winning big. Texas, find the alternate line of 7.5. Grab that. Texas 7.5.
Texas minus 7.5.
Yeah, grab that alternate line and the over.
And the over.
If everyone stays healthy on Texas's offense,
wow.
I believe.
If Arch comes out there and plays where we think he can play, yeah, I can see.
I believe.
Yeah, I can see Texas ball.
I just want to say, I just want to make sure that it's out there that I said, if you can find Texas favored by 7.5 on the alternate line, grab that bag, run with it.
Okay,
that's wild.
That is wild.
I might just have to follow you on that one.
Put $1 on it. It'll be worth it.
Sounds fun. That sounds fun. But sorry, Josh, as I was saying, before you so rudely interrupted me to make your pick, no, we haven't really given our boldest prediction of the year. Can we do a quick bold prediction for ECU? But also maybe our boldest prediction for all of college football this year? Off the dome.
Oh man.
I should have put this in the notes. I didn't.
Off the dome for ECU. Well, it's a bold prediction, so
For
I'll say
ECU.
we'll have a 1,000-yard receiver.
A 1,000-yard receiver?
1,000-yard receiver. Don't ask me who. But I think we have a 1,000-yard receiver.
And if you want to guess along in the comments, feel free to drop a comment.
I think we have a draftable DB.
That would go with the trend. That would go with the trend ECU's had the last few years.
I think we have a draftable DB.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I have reasons to believe.
It's a bold prediction.
I use the key word that might be a name that you might hear in the stadium this year.
I asked the question. I didn't even have one. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Caden Hauser, and maybe this isn't a bold prediction. I don't know what he ended up having last year. I'm going to say $35 touchdown passes. I think they're going to throw the ball all over the place, and the defenses in this conference, I think, are suspect.
He had 18 last year
in 7 games, 8 games.
35 is all conference, and we're touching them. They're probably second team All-American, third team All-American. If we get 35 touchdowns.
I didn't say how many interceptions, but I think they're going to be slinging it. And look, it's bold. I almost said 30, but I knew he had 18 last year and didn't play the whole season. I think if he plays the whole season with this offense and the way they want to sling it, there's going to be guys open. He's just got to hit them.
Okay. I like
35 is a stretch. I would feel good with 30, but 35 is a bold prediction.
4,000 passing yards, Caden Hauser.
I mean, if he's getting 35 touchdowns, yeah, he's got to have the yards to back it up too. So.
But Artie thinks there's a 1,000-yard receiver. So come on now.
I think he's going to have a good season. I absolutely think he's going to have a good season. But 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns.
We're talking about a draftable quarterback at this point. No, I think Caden Hauser is prime for a breakout year.
Yeah.
100% healthy. The fact that he did that last year in half the games and with a bum wrist. Come on now. Get on the train. Get on the bandwagon. Caden Hauser to the moon.
Last game on the list. The home team, ECU, plus 440 as of the time of recording. At NC State, minus 610. NC State, 13.5-point favorite, 14 points most places, 14.5 elsewhere. Over-under 61.5. That over-under has gone up. It was 55.5 earlier. So yeah, I feel like this is somebody's thinking NC State's going to pull away at the end. What do you guys think?
I feel like we've said what we think. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout in Carter Finley Stadium. I think the team that wins is going to have to score 35 at least. And I still think it's going to be a one-score game. With that being said, I think you're looking at like a 41-35 game, something like that, which would put the over I've talked myself into earlier tonight. I was thinking to myself, like, how am I going to pull or like how am I going to pick ECU? Like, what do I need to think about to pick ECU? And we've been kind of touching on it all podcast. I'm taking ECU to win this game just because I think where there are question marks on NC State and ECU's defense, I think having Blake Harrell there, who ran the defense last year, Coach Aldridge as defensive coordinator, they're not changing much. You've got a lot of guys that have played snaps. I don't think that it's going to be like as big of a transition as it is to NC State on their defense. But I also think that ECU is going to be able to exploit some of those holes in NC State's defense a little bit better than NC State can exploit ECU's holes. I don't know. I'm just a college football podcaster who has some bias here, but I'm taking ECU to win this game in Carter Finley Stadium. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, when we talked to Corey earlier, he left some doubts, which may be a little optimistic. I definitely think both of these defenses are going to look really bad at times. I think there might be some splashes of good play. I do think it's going to be a shootout. I think the first one to 35 wins, and I'm gonna take East Carolina. I'm gonna say 38-34 ECU in Carter Finley. Obviously, that's taking the over. I can also see 38-27 NC State, but I'm gonna say 38-34 ECU Thursday night.
I'm gonna give you guys the same answer I gave my new coworker in the hallway today when he asked me what I have on this game. Score 38-30. Who wins? Not saying publicly. You guys will not be riding on my train and sinking my ship.
Nobody comes with Josh.
And nobody knows who I got. But 38-30 is my final score. So that is the over. That is the over. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. Just give me the over. 38-30 final score.
If you were to put a bet in on like the actual score for this game and you put 38-30, Josh, why don't we put some money on it?
Haven't thought about it, but
I mean,
find me the book where it's available.
I doubt it's here, but let's see. Nope. I don't know, man. I do think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm riding with ECU, man. Josh, you can tell me off air.
Oh, I'm not telling anybody.
Josh doesn't want anybody to put money on ECU. That's why he's not telling anybody. he wants the line to keep moving towards NC State.
Josh is thinking
Look, not my entire workplace is NC State. The entire workplace is NC State or Virginia Tech. So you can imagine how it feels right now. I'm just going to keep my consistent 38-30.
I like it. I like it. I like the score prediction. I think it's going to be in that ballpark. I could see either team winning by a touchdown, but I can't pick against ECU in this game. I just can't. We could get blown off the map, and I'd still say that ECU is going to win it.
Yeah.
But like we said earlier, it's time to put up, shut up, and bang skulls. It is time. It is time for East Carolina football in the 2025 season, boys. Artie, I've already told you they're gonna have it up on the screen, so I'm gonna have it on my phone. Hell, I might pull out the tablet, put it on the table. I'm gonna have every view.
We've got 5 TVs.
I don't give a shit, Artie.
What are you going to get your phone for? The TV's going to be right there at the bar.
Yeah, but like if I need one AirPod in so I can hear what's going on in the game, and because you get to a bar, they don't have the sound on.
Intermingling, and Jared's just going to be in his corner with his AirPod in.
I'm gonna be like,
shit.
I'm gonna be eating my brisket mac and cheese. If you haven't been to Cal, it's a great place.
Yeah. Good.
But no, I can't wait. I'm envious of you, Josh. You're gonna be there.
I was gonna be there.
I'll be in the room.
Hopefully, just maybe wear your black Boneyard podcast shirt, so maybe the NC State fans don't get too wild. I don't know. Be safe out there. Pirate Nation, show up to Carter Finley Stadium. Let's take that bitch over and let's go win a damn football game. I haven't said it all podcast. But here's your official fuck state. Go Pirates. Let's get the fuck out of here. But before we do, make sure you go buy you a ECU shirt. They've sold out. Y'all have done a great job buying these shirts. Go buy more. Use Boneyard20 at roback.com for 20% off your first order. Do that. Follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast, at The Boneyard Podcast on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Artie, tell them what to do if they don't.
If you don't, you can walk the damn plank, baby.
You might as well be an NC State fan if you don't.
Might as well.
Might as well. And there's nothing lower than being an NC State fan. Nothing. Nothing in this world. My wife was talking to me earlier about supporting our daughter and everything. And I was like, yeah, except if she goes to NC State, like that's the one thing I can't support her in. I won't do it.
Yes, you will.
I won't pay for it. I'll go to graduation wearing a purple shirt. I love her. I love her to death, but you don't want to go to MU. Go damn Pirates. Artie, let's get the hell out of here.
Hey, next time we see you, hopefully it's celebrating the EC victory. Wash your hands, wash your butts, Pirate Nation. We love y'all. Till next time. Deuce.
Fuck State.